Before you support Trump or Biden, here's what you really need to know. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Inspiring Hope. This is your weekly boost of uplifting Jewish inspiration. I'm Rabbi Tzvi Sytner, and on behalf of the Village Shul and Aish.com, I want to thank you all for listening. I also want to thank this week's sponsors. Today's talk is sponsored by Matthew Freeberg and Kim Smiley, in memory of Matt's father, Dr. Marty Freeberg, Avraham Mordechai ben Moshe Olav Shalom. May his neshama have an aliyah. Today's also sponsored by David Posner and Stacy Farber, in honor of the families in our community, the strength of our families during challenging times, and the endless blessings the future will bring. Lastly, today's sponsored by Beverly Berdani in memory of Nancy Weisbrod's sister, Brian Alea Bas Nachman Shlomo Alea Shalom. May her neshama have an aliyah. So this past Sunday, I had the honor of officiating at 3 unveilings in one day. The first one, I listened intently as several grandchildren described how loving their bubby was to each of them. At the second one, a son expressed wanting to always remember his father by his smiles and his laughter. And at the last one, a grandfather cried as he shared how caring and supportive his late wife was. And as I listened to these beautiful eulogies, I looked at the headstone and I was reminded of a powerful poem by a woman named Linda Ellis called The Dash. Listen to this poem. She says, I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noticed that first came her date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that she spent alive on earth. And now, only those who loved her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you lived your dash? Do you know what the mourners and friends shared at the graveside this past Sunday? They talked about how kind, caring, loving, God-fearing their loved ones were. Do you know what they didn't talk about? They didn't talk about politics. There was no mention of whether they were Democrat or Republican, or who their loved ones voted for. Because when all's said and done, in the end, people will remember you by the kind of person you really were. Yes, your vote is important, but what's more important than who you vote for is who you become through voting. You know, I see people losing themselves and ruining relationships over political arguments, but you don't have to stoop below your dignity to stand up for what you believe in. When the elections are over, one candidate will be president and one won't. But the real question is, who will you be? Your character, your relationships, the relationship with your spouse, with your family, with your friends. They don't have to suffer because of the elections. You know, we all have a tremendous opportunity right now to rise above these arguments and to refine ourselves. Let's do it. Let's all stand proud for what we believe in, but in a way that we'll all be proud of ourselves. Thank you so much for listening. And if you want to sponsor the next episode or send me a message, just email me at hope@aish.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.